Hello everyone and welcome to this New Year live broadcast about the new moon in Capricorn. We're going to have 2nd of January 2022. It's a very interesting time because this lunation in a way continues the work that we have done throughout the previous year, because the moon is occurring on the 2nd of the 1st, which is a 21. We've just come out of year 2021, which means manifesting, giving birth to a new idea, to a new will. We are here, we are at this point in time asked to go through, to manifest fully what we need to manifest. And in order to do that, this month and the month until April will support us in leading us towards an end of the old way of being. From the numerological point of view, January is a month 7, because to find the energy of a month, we have different ways of doing it. We have the addition of the single digit of the year, so 2022 is actually a 6, but also we can do 20 plus 2 plus 2, which is a 24. But also we can do the other way around of 24, and we get the karmic energy of the year, which is a 42. To that, we add the energy of the month, and January is a month 1. So if we look at 6, January is going to be a 7. If we look at 24, January is going to be a 25. If we look at the karmic energy, January is going to be a 46. So what does it mean? It means 7 is a testing energy, to make one with the energy, with the wisdom that we carry within, because 7 represents is the energy of fusion, but also talks about going beyond the limits that we put to ourselves. Because of this energy, it's going to trigger an inner conflict, because the aim is to destroy all the lies that we have within our especially in our way of looking at things, of thinking at things. 25 is the birth of consciousness, is also the number associated to finding the key to the universal mind, so connecting to a higher source of energy, to the higher mind, because the 2 is the emotional, the 5 is the energy of the higher mind coming in, which is again a 7. And 43, which is the karmic energy, is will to adapt, is transformation, is instability for a transformation. Then we are going to enter in February. That is going to be a month 8, and again reorganization, realignment, destroying of the old in order to give birth to the new. So 8 February, in fact, in the ancient name February comes from Februs, which was the Roman god, the Roman god of purification. And then we have March, which is going to be a 9 month, which is an ending, and a new beginning will going to start in April, at the time of Easter. In fact, Easter this year is going to happen on the 17th of April. And bear in mind that Easter generally is decided upon according to the first full moon after spring equinox. So giving the new energy, the new birth is going to happen then, and April is going to be a month 10-1. So these months are months of purification, and January is going really to start that process of ending, to get into the energy of 22, which really means planting the seed of the divine man, which means, from our point of view, planting the energy of a different connection within the self. a connection which is no longer based on our intellect, on our thinking mind, but is really based on an inner relationship with the soul, with the self, with the higher mind. We can see that the energy that this moon is going to plant, we can see it from the meaning of the number in which of the day in which this moon is going to happen. And it's going to happen on the 2nd of January, as I said, which is related to the tarot card number 2, La Papesse, and also the Hebrew letter Bet, which means exactly house, temple. This tarot card is very important because it's the first card that we find in the esoteric, in the tarot, after the magician, Le Battleur, which is the man who is looking for a space, the energy, the wisdom to handle the different aspect of the self represented by the different elements that we find on the altar, which has also the associated, add to the minor arcana. So we have sword, we have the pentacles, we have a cup, we have a wand, and actually the wand is the spiritual, the cup is the emotional, the sword is the mental, and then the pentacles represents physicality, the energetic of physicality. So how do we handle the energy? Because this man is looking for a unity, and it is also, if you look in the image, it has the shape of the Hebrew letter Aleph, which is also the letter that we have here on the card, which means connecting the divine and the human, joining together above and below. And also this card is the associated to number 1, which is also the number of the month, January, which is the testing number, the rehearsal number, what we say in numerology, in esoteric numerology, we call it metronome. So the test throughout this month and throughout this lunation is related to finding the combination, a way to join together the personality and the soul, the inner and the outer, above and below. And in order to do that, we need to face exactly the energy of the High Priestess. Generally, the High Priestess is related to facing the mystery, entering the mystery, entering the unknown. And then it may trigger within us a state of confusion, a state of dread, a state of fear, a state of doubt, because number 2 is the number that is associated to weighing up, to relationship, not only relationship with you, but relationship with life, with relationships in general, with people, because we need to change this relationship from the horizontal aspect, which means me and you, to the vertical aspect, which is me and the universal life, me and the higher mind, the personality and the soul. This change of paradigm that is going to trigger the shift within myself. Because also number 2 is related to the emotional, so it has to deal to learning to deal with all the emotional aspect which keep us related to others in a way that creates dependence. We are asked, number 1, to stand on our own feet, lead ourselves without being trapped by what others say, what others think, or any other kind of things. So it is a card that talks about an intense purification of fire, an intense purification, and we see exactly what I've said in the card, because the High Priestess is between these two pillars, and these two pillars are Jachin and Boaz. These pillars were the pillars that from in the ancient teaching were described as the pillar that stand in front of the Temple of Solomon, and generally are the pillars that are at the entrance of sacred places, because they represent something very important. The blue pillar is 𝐒𝐄𝐃, and 𝐒𝐄𝐃 means in Hebrew, he shall establish, referring to the energy of God, holding, establishing what has to be done in the world. And then is the unity from being, and it is also associated to the sun and to the divine man, to fire, and to the unity from being, and to Cancer, because Cancer energetically represents the star sign through which we enter into incarnation. In fact, when we look at the template in astrology, we enter from the IC, the lower part of the chart, and which in the template corresponds to Cancer. And then the other one, this red one, is Boaz, which means in him is strength, is related to the earthly man, to water, to the moon, and to Capricorn, and it represents death and winter. So here we have life, here we have death. We have to go through this woman, okay, to this passage, which is to this door that leads to the house of God, the sacred marriage between men and the divine. And as we pass through this process, we are actually given the chance for a new beginning, for a new energy, and we are really given the possibility to start a new life where the spiritual aspect is going to dominate the physical aspect. So it's also corresponding to the three pillars of the Kabbalah, the male and the female, and the third pillar is hidden here behind, which is the pillar of harmony and the pillar of stability. So these two pillars represents the equilibrium between these two opposite forces that have hold us together until now. Me and you is not me and the outer world, is me and the higher world. So the test is oneness, returning to this unity. And the interesting thing is that this card is asking us to go inward, because at the time also of the new moon, the energy diminishes, and then think about the past, worry about the future, but it is a time of darkness because it's entering into the mystery, but is a time of inner searching, where we have the power of the water, washing away what we no longer need. And so bear in mind that this is also a card traditionally associated to the moon. So the moon moving the water within the self. So that we can go through a deep reset of the heart and the mind, a big regeneration energy, that we need to go through. In fact, 2 and 1 is a 3, which is a new plan, recognizing the plan. And if we think also from the astrological point of view, the third sign of the zodiac is Gemini, which is, which talks about the two twins, the twin of the light and the human, the dark twin, which is related to our personality, that have to start communicating together to shift, go through, the number 3 is uplift your way of looking at things, go beyond duality, and be inspired from another level, from a higher level. The other aspect, number 2 is also the second star sign of the zodiac, which is associated to Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus, is a coral sign, and it is related to the law of attraction, self-value, and I have. Because normally we think that we have a value if we own. If we think if we have a value if we attract. But we think to attract with the mind, the intellect, not to attract from the energy within. So Taurus is also about experiencing unrequited love, because we have based, the foundation of our energy is not the true foundation. Capricorn is called the star sign of periodic resting, which means we have reached the top of the mountain, we can only go down. And the opposite sign, which is Cancer, which is the sign where we're going to have the next full moon, is the sign of the foundation of the house, of what we build. What we are looking at is we are seeing collapsing everything we have done, everything we have built, in order to build new foundation, so that we really create something completely new, which is based on a relationship which is based on truth, the truth of who we are, the truth of what we feel, not the truth of the mind. The total addition of this lunation is a 9, which is the Hermit. Taurus is ruled by Venus. We are going to see that shortly as I talk about the astrological chart. Venus is the higher ruler of Capricorn, but also Venus rules Libra, which is the star sign associated to the inner marriage. So who are you going to marry? And then number 9 is associated to Saturn, and is the death of the old ways. Saturn is father time, talks about in this case ending, because we need to start to remove from our cellular memories everything that belongs to the past. We need to go through a deep process of transformation, because the Hermit is going within, and this transformation can only happen in silence, you know. So by going within, we see the great truth, and then as we see them, they will start vibrating, coming to us and vibrating in us in a different way. So Venus says the old desires are going to die, and Venus is conjunct Pluto at the time of this lunation, and Pluto is the god of the underworld, is leading, taking Venus deep, all the desire deep in the underworld, to see the truth of what we thought, what we believed. Pluto rules Scorpio, but also rules Pisces, which is important at this time, because Pisces represents the energy of freeing ourselves from the limitation of the personality. And at the time of this lunation, Jupiter is going to enter Pisces just a couple of hours before the time of the lunation. Jupiter before the discovery of Neptune, Jupiter used to be the ruler of Pisces. So Jupiter enters Pisces, is going to expand our mind, and in April is going to be conjunct to Neptune, which means that we are going to see a lot of we are going to have a lot of an amplification of our self-deceit, of our illusion, delusioned tendencies, but also we're going to have a deep access to our own truth. So the time is really shifting the energy, and Venus, because he's conjunct Pluto at 26, we need to really go and face deeply our emotional stuff and rise your mind, uplift your energy. So we are going to look at a change of heart, change of values, change of taste, change of preference, turning point in relationships, and see more clearly our role in the world. Jupiter will expand that as we go ahead. Then we're going to have another aspect extremely important at the time of this lunation. We have Uranus, a trine to the Sun and the Moon, but also square Saturn. Uranus represents the future, breaking revolution. Saturn represents the past, leaving behind, as I said, the old. These two together are a strong combination that is going to go throughout the year. We're going to experience that energy, squaring energy throughout the year, because we are breaking the old in order to plant the seed of the new man. 2022 is really about planting the seed of the new man. And then are the couple of things very important at the time of this lunation, because we have Mars at 14 degrees Sagittarius and Vesta at 25 degrees Sagittarius, which are two very important points in the zodiac. Mars is on the Great Attractor, which is a place in the universe, which means really is supporting, we cannot understand exactly what it's all about, but there is such a force there that even the light coming close to that point is even bending, showing us what is behind. So we're going to see behind the veil. Then the Vesta is conjunct another point, because it's 26 degrees Sagittarius, which is the galactic center, which is a very intense place of the in the horoscope, in the chart, that is really connected to our root chart, and is a strong energy of awakening and leaving behind all the survival patterns of the past. So this big amplification is really asking us to see clearly and break the old energy. I told you that Venus rules Taurus, rules Libra in the exoteric astrology. In the esoteric astrology rules Gemini, and on the higher level rules Capricorn. In Libra, we have other two very important planets. We have 𝐒𝐀𝐏𝐃 and we have 𝐒𝐿𝐻𝐿. These two planets are trans-Neptunian or trans-Plutonian planets. They are, the solar system has more planets than what we think if we don't know about it. These planets were discovered after year 2000. And 𝐒𝐀𝐏𝐃 is really asking us to delving down into the dark interior of the psyche in order to obtain a receptivity to a higher wisdom. So actually 𝐒𝐾 is creating a T-square, and I show you here, a T-square with, this is the sun and the moon, this is 𝐒𝐾, T-square with Chiron, T-square to the moon, delving in order really to be receptive to a higher wisdom that can be merged with the personality so that we can act upon it. And then 𝐒𝐿𝐻 is talking about the show is over. Is the Sabian symbol, the show is over, so it's telling us that the old way of being has gone, is coming to an end. We need to find a new spring. We need to connect to the source, to find that inner strength that is going to lead us towards a new energy. A big time to connect with the heart in a new way. It is a time for a breaking point. It is a deep ending, coming through the exhaustion, a deep exhaustion of the pattern of the past. And especially, when we have Venus retrograde, we may experience even heartbreaks, as I said, but also is the energy of a new awakening, the energy of a new perspective, the energy of a new way of sharing our life, a new way, a new hope coming forward. So up to Easter, we are going to experience that big dissolution, going beyond the limits that we put to ourselves in order to enter that big, that big washing away in order to start afresh. So we have a lot of work to do, and it's very important that we get to know exactly where we are in our life. I remind you, if you want to go on our website, you can find information about the consultation, about courses that we run at the school, and wishing you a wonderful new moon and a really fantastic new beginning in 2002. Bye-bye.